From an action-packed sci-fi adventure to a tweaked modern take on a classic sitcom, these are the best TV shows of 2018. Throw some popcorn in the microwave and dig out your binge-watching sweatpants because we're diving in. Who would have guessed it would take a cartoon about a foul-mouthed anthropomorphic horse to really nail the traits and tribulations of fame, depression, and generational trauma? Basically, BoJack Horseman has been a revelation, balancing wit, humor, and plenty of madcap charm with a deep emphasis on the way sadness permeates, well, everything. And even for those familiar with how brutally tragic and unflinching the show can get, Season 5 took BoJack Horseman to new heights.
You're here, and I hate you. But you're my best friend, and you need me.
Plenty of other shows have featured anti-hero leads, but BoJack never loses sight of the fact that its titular lead's crappier actions remain forever present, and the weight of his awful actions are hiding just below the surface. Season 5 brought all that subtext directly to the forefront as BoJack struggled to escape his past mistakes, even when confronting them might be the only way he can ever actually be free. And beyond the weighty subject matter, Season 5 was an ambitious exercise from a show that thrives on pushing the envelope. For instance, who would have guessed that one of the season's highlights would be a 20-minute monologue by BoJack, performed with a hypnotizing bittersweetness by actor Will Arnett. BoJack has always been one of the best shows on Netflix, but Season 5 cemented the show as one of the best series on television, period. There have been plenty of movies and television shows about acting and Hollywood life, but no show has managed to capture the unique strangeness of struggling actors in Los Angeles quite like Barry. The show follows Bill Hader as Barry, a hitman who's struggling with a growing sense of ennui and finds his life changed when he stumbles into an acting class and gets bitten by the acting bug.
These are professional actors, and they're the real deal, and they say I got something.
What follows is a hilariously dark comedy, as Barry struggles to leave his life of crime behind to make it as an actor, even while former clients and a manipulative mentor conspire to keep him in their clutches.
If you kill him, anything, I'll come back here, and I'll kill every single one of you.
Through it all, Barry is equally funny and ruthless about what it means to make it in the City of Angels. Barry actually is a nice guy, but he's also a reluctant contract killer. Really, he just wants to follow his dreams, like many a young actor in Hollywood. Anyone who's ever attended a friend's improv class or been asked to look over a movie script will find plenty to relate to in Barry. After coming out with a strong start and a lot of positive reviews, the Marvel Netflix shows have faltered somewhat over the years. Iron Fist seemed like a misfire almost immediately, and a better-reviewed second season didn't manage to keep it from getting cancelled, a fate that was also suffered by Luke Cage. With all of this dour news, it would have been easy for Daredevil Season 3 to come and go as silently as the ninjas Matt Murdock fights. But as it turns out, this batch of episodes came out swinging, and the new season is a perfect reminder of why people were excited about the Netflix Marvel shows to begin with. Charlie Cox returns as Matt Murdock, bringing all of his considerable angst and moody charisma to the fore. Cox has a lot to work with too. Season 3 puts Daredevil in just about the worst position imaginable, grinding the hero down to paste just to see if he can build himself back up. It's a thrilling season with jaw-dropping action and some of the best acting on television. Best of all, Vincent D'Onofrio returns as Wilson Fisk, the charismatic kingpin whose brutality is only matched by his skill at manipulation.
I have made many mistakes, but I accept the debt I'm paying because of them.
Despite Daredevil's success, on November 29th, Netflix announced the show would be cancelled. Here's to hoping Netflix's cancelled Marvel shows continue their heroics on some other platform in the future. After returning to television for the first time in 20 years in 2005, Doctor Who re-established itself as a stylish sci-fi show for a new audience. Still, despite multiple showrunners and multiple actors playing the eponymous Doctor, the next decade of Doctor Who settled into a comfortable rhythm. An eccentric male lead, on-again, off-again romances with various co-stars, callbacks to the original run, and silly science fiction shenanigans.
No bo ho sho ko ro to so.
That all changed in 2018 when, for the first time, a woman took over as the title character. Jodie Whittaker's turn as the Doctor ended up being exactly the shot in the arm that the show needed, coinciding nicely with new showrunner Chris Chibnall's tenure. Based on her web series Awkward Black Girl, Insecure follows a fictionalized version of creator and star Issa Rae as she grapples with the complexities of black life, feminism, and millennial culture. Insecure is whip-smart about portraying complicated issues with nuance and genuine humor. It's easily one of the funniest shows on television and packed to the brim with wit and emotion. Season 3 hasn't just kept up the show's hot streak either, it's arguably the best yet. Michael Andor Brodor at Boston Globe writes that Insecure has never felt more confident, and it's hard to disagree. Even 3 seasons deep into the show, Ray's abilities as a writer, showrunner, producer, and performer have never been so obviously apparent. Insecure keeps growing, improving, and changing like few other shows. And Season 3 was a perfect reminder that you should be making it appointment television. The Haunting of Hill House is horror at its best, simultaneously terrifying and thrilling, while also dealing with the emotional core that should be at the center of every horror movie. That richness of character has led to some reviews calling Hill House a drama with ghosts, or like This Is Us wrapped in a gothic ghost story. But make no mistake, Hill House is absolutely terrifying. Director-showrunner Mike Flanagan showcases all the technical brilliance that made Oculus and Gerald's Game so profoundly scary. And through it all, he never loses sight of the fact that the ghosts are a way for the audience to connect to the Crane family's trauma. It's just that, they're all so scary as hell. Fans of classic 90s sitcoms rejoiced when ABC announced that they greenlit a revival of Roseanne. For many viewers, the show had earned its place in history alongside Cheers, Frasier, and other classic television comedies. Unfortunately, the jubilation didn't last long. Just a couple months after the new series premiered, star Roseanne Barr tweeted out a racist statement that almost immediately led to the show's cancellation. Luckily, even though it shared a name with its star, Roseanne was never just about Roseanne. The creative talent behind the show quickly pivoted to making The Connors, a continuation of the fans' favorite family, minus Roseanne, of course, whose character had died off screen.
What about when the casseroles run out? What if the person who died is the only one who cooked?
Then we keep telling people we're grieving until we figure out how to feed ourselves.
Critical reception to the newly tweaked show has been largely positive, with critics like Alan Sepinwall of Rolling Stone writing, "There are enough sturdy characters and performances here to move on without her, and the premiere felt more focused than many of the episodes from the spring." Donald Glover and his team had a lot to live up to when the second season of Atlanta was announced. The show's first season firmly established it as one of the most electrifying television series in recent memory. And Glover's performance as Earn in Season 2 of Atlanta, subtitled Robbin Season, is as good as you'd expect, but it also showcases other characters with a confidence that you won't see on any other show.
Who's gonna take this?
Wait, what?
Hell yeah. They got a no-chase policy.
The season was filled with standout episodes, highlighting the other characters in the show, like the nightmarish Teddy Perkins, which followed Darius, played by Lakeith Stanfield, meeting a Michael Jackson-esque musician in an ominous mansion. Woods, on the other hand, followed Brian Tyree Henry's Al, aka Paperboy, as he's haunted by the downsides of his own fame and success. More than half of the season was directed by Hiro Murai, Glover's longtime music video director, and Murai's expert visual sense and rich use of surrealism has made Atlanta one of the best-looking shows on television. As the prequel and sometimes kind of sequel to Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul takes a bit of a slower pace than its predecessor, but it's still prone to occasional explosions of violence. You're more likely to see elaborate cons on the vicious meth heads that populated Breaking Bad, but the underlying moral decay and fantastic character writing is even better. Bob Odenkirk fills Jimmy with such warmth and humanity that it's like watching a horror movie as he slowly sinks into corruption, losing his last bits of morality in the process. Even for a show as consistent as Better Call Saul, Season 4 was a victory lap that took viewers closer to the events of Breaking Bad than anyone really expected. And we couldn't be more excited for what's to come. Much like a Greek tragedy, we already know that Jimmy is destined for moral rot and the job of managing a Cinnabon. Which sounds awesome, how can you not like Cinnabon? The beauty of the show is how much you don't want it to happen. DC's new take on a familiar cast of caped crusaders, Titans needed just 2 glorious words to get fans riled up. Sure, Robbin and the rest of the titular team look like they just brought out a hot topic, but critics dig DC's gritty reimagining of the young superheroes. For instance, Autumn Noel Kelly at Newsweek wrote positively about the show, claiming, "Titans is the most balanced superhero show out there. It's skillfully constructive, narratively speaking, and there's a surprising amount of flavor beneath its classification as a dark, moody teen drama. Turns out there's more pleasure to be had in Titans than watching Robbin drop the F-bomb." HBO's True Detective brought Cary Fukunaga's work to a mainstream audience. His keen eye for cinematography was a key component of the show's Season 1 success. After that, he released Beasts of No Nation, which was met with similarly positive critical acclaim. Then he more or less disappeared for 3 years before blazing back to the small screen with Maniac. The wait was worth it. Starring Jonah Hill and Emma Stone as patients in an experimental mental health study in a retro-futuristic dystopia, the beautifully shot Maniac jumps from genre to genre through Owen and Annie's fantasies, and Fukunaga keeps the focus squarely on the difficulty of living with mental illness and trauma, and the possibility of finding connection and community despite or even because of those issues.
Of course you make me happy. You always make me happy.